Alright, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. So, it's been a long time since we've been on this channel. Just give me an update. This is our newest Airbnb. Well, short-term rental. It's not new to us. We had this house built 13 years ago. And we recently turned it into a short-term rental. So, we are having some issues though. It's been on short-term rental for the last couple of months. And we have an issue. We have an issue in our half bath that's downstairs. There is a leak that we're having a plumber come out. And as you can see, water is just dripping. So the plumber's gonna have to come out and find out where that water is coming from. So stay tuned to that. They're probably gonna have to cut this whole ceiling out. Like I said, we had this house built in 2012. And this house has been very good to us. We have a lot of memories here. My youngest son, he doesn't know anything other than this house. So when he was born, we bought this house. And we've kind of outgrown it. So we ended up buying a bigger home with a little bit more land, a little bit more room. And let me just give you a tour of it. The guests just left. We had some guests leave, so we still gotta come back in and clean the property and get it back ready. But like I said, we got some construction that's gonna have to happen. So here's one of the bedrooms. There's a bath. You have to clean that.
You got something leaking?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
There's another bedroom. So our short-term rental is more of a long stays. We're actually moving to do insurance policies where people have property that's burnt down and they're looking for temporary housing. So we do that, and we actually do the traditional, Airbnb rentals as well. So this is the master bedroom. So, and this is the master bath. All right, so I'll be back. So now the plumber finally showed up, and we're walking him through what's going on downstairs as he tries to locate the leak. He's a funny guy. He's a real cool guy. He helped us out a lot. He found out that it was the washer and dryer, the washer cold water line that actually caused the leak. So he had to cut the ceiling open and repair that line in order to get the place back up and running. He was there for about an hour and a half doing that. Like I said, he's a real funny guy, man. He's real helpful. He gave us some great advice on things that we should do with the insurance company. But he was real helpful. So we're back in motion. Once this guy cuts that ceiling out and patches up that, replaces that hot water line. We'll be back in motion. And it took him about an hour to do this, so it wasn't long. The longest part was the mediation people getting in, tearing out everything that was damaged by the water. We had the ceiling that was damaged by the water, the wall, the baseboards, the carpet in the great room. And so we had to get everything tore out, repainted, and put back together before a guest was coming in on in 3 days. 4 days, I'm sorry, in 4 days. So our backs were against the wall, but we made it happen. Just showing you the backyard, the covered patio that we had built last year. It's a nice addition to the backyard. The guests really love it. They love coming out, sitting out there, watching the game. It's a great grilling. Got a deck back there as well. TVs, ceiling fans, lights. So it's a good hangout spot for guests when they come in. When they come in town, they could just hang out there, grill. Got a smoker out there, so it's great. We do have a vegetable box back there in the back. I haven't planted any vegetables in some time, but I'm thinking I'm going to plant some vegetables for the guests. So, the guests wanted fresh vegetables. They can come out there and pick the vegetables out of the garden box. And I'm thinking about doing that. So I'm going to have to turn that garden box over. But vegetables grow really fast in that box. The ground is really fertile right there. So I'm thinking about implementing that so they can have fresh vegetables if they want vegetables. But yeah. So that's the garden box, and we'll be headed back inside.